It happened. Hey there guys, so I was given the opportunity to help design this hoodie for Floral Arms and Hog. If you don't know who they are, please go check them out on all their socials, join their Patreon, go check them out. They're hilarious, sweet guys. Guys, if you're watching this, thank you so much for the opportunity. I really admire you and I hope I get to work with you guys again. Thank you so much. Okay. Hey there everyone, my name is Marissa, aka Risaroo, aka the girl who helped Floral Arms and Hog put the Floral Pig logo together for the hoodie. So before we get started, I just want to say thank you so much for having me. This is a very exciting and fun thing for me to do, and to get to know all of you and to be a part of a community that is fun and funny and creative. So I appreciate it very much. And also, before we get too far into it, I apologize for all the background noise if there is any. I do have people that live above me, and I also have my air conditioner running because it is summer in LA and the sun is trying to kill us every moment of the day. So I apologize in advance if that affects the noise, but we are going to roll with it. So I am here to answer some of your guys' questions that you so nicely sent in. And I'm also here to give you a little bit of background about the design. So how it came to be. Let's see, 2019, January, I was getting to a point with my art where I was like, you know what? I want to work for and with people that inspire me. I was doing a lot of projects that were, you know, make this logo for a car, auto shop, you know, and we want it this specific way and done this in this specific manner. And you can only use Photoshop. And it was, you know, after a while, to a creative person, that becomes very draining and uninspiring. So I was kind of hitting a point where I was just like, I need to do something that is going to make me feel amazing and is going to inspire other people. And I decided, after watching many hours of Floral Arms and Hog, that I was going to reach out to them. So it's not something that I normally do. It was very nerve-wracking for me because I was like, I'm going to send them this message asking them if there are any opportunities in the future for me to work with them. What if I get shut down? What if they laugh at me? What if I don't get a response? It's for somebody who's very self-conscious, it was very just nerve-wracking, really. But I was like, no, it's a new year. I'm going to do this. I would love the opportunity to work with them. So I sent them a message. And I didn't hear from them, which is, I didn't take any offense to it whatsoever. I wasn't like, I'm not going to watch them or anything. I was completely understanding because, like, I'm sure they get hundreds of messages a day. They're very busy. They put out a video every single week. They have to spend time with the people that they love being around. Like, I didn't take it the wrong way at all. I was like, you know what? I shot my shot. It didn't happen. It's fine. And I moved on and I, you know, continued school and went to work, and no big deal. And then September, and I remember because it was a very important day for me, I got a message around 11 o'clock at night. My little Instagram notification started popping off, and I got a message from them back. And I think I was kind of like this in my room going, oh my goodness. So it was very exciting to hear from them. Foil was nice enough to reach out to me and say, you know, sorry that we didn't get back to you sooner. We would love to discuss this further with you. Please send us a message. And it was like, oh my gosh, like, even if nothing comes of this, I got a chance to even just throw the idea of possibly working out with people that I admire, and they took to it. So it was very exciting. And I think I almost too quickly responded in an email saying, thank you so much for responding back to me. I would love to discuss this further. Any ideas are welcome. Anything that you feel like we could collaborate on would be amazing. And he got back to me a couple of days later, and I have the message. I will paraphrase here, but it was something along the lines of, we would love to work with you. Good artwork is always nice to have, and we'll leave it very open. We have a few potential ideas, and we'll send you some artworks of yours. So they pulled from my Instagram to show me art that inspired them that they thought would work well with a design possibility. And what they ended up sending me back that kind of stuck with me of mine, excuse me for 1 second, was this design that I did back in 2015. So this was something that I did for, a clothing line that I was working with. And this is back when I was doing stuff with like band merchandise and trying to get my name out there. And it was a lot of fun to do. There's a lot of, and this is the original design. There's a lot of moving parts in it. Like here, I'll get a little bit closer, but there's like, a cog, and there's like a clock, and there's a little bit of floral and a lot of different designs in here. And I liked the complexity of it, and I really enjoyed doing that design. So I was super happy when they reached out and said that that would be something that kind of like gripped their attention and that we could potentially work with. So like I said, it was very open. There was no real like, we want you to do this specifically this way. He messaged me and said, why don't you kind of give it a go with the pig logo? And I love that design. It's so simple and so clean. I was just like, well, what am I going to do with this that involves kind of that complexity that I had in the design that I just showed you guys? So it took a moment for me to kind of like come through with an idea. And I played with it for a while, and there was no rush on this. There was really, like I said, no plan. But I came back with the potential of like, okay, so do we like this kind of design? Are we going for something like this? Which I'll show you guys in a little bit. And then we finally made a decision, and a couple months later, I get a hoodie in the mail, and it was the most amazing feeling in the world. It was something that I was so proud to share with my family and my friends. It was just absolutely amazing. And then to go onto Instagram and see all of you wearing that design, even though it was something that was already pulled from a previous design, the pig logo is iconic, but to see the little spin-off that I did on a garment, on fans, on Foil Arms and Hog was just like, is this even real? Like it was just the absolute coolest feeling in the world to me. And I say thank you to all of you for being so supportive and loving it, and spending your money on it and supporting the guys. I mean, it really, there are no words, because it was such an exciting project to do, and it was absolutely amazing. So I don't want to get too far into the story, because I know you guys have questions, and it will kind of like fill in everything in between. So let me get to your guys' questions. I do have them written down here, and we will discuss further. So, and I appreciate you guys sending in questions. That was really awesome. When I was talking to Helen, I was like, I wonder if people are going to even send in questions, if people are even curious, or they're just like, it's a hoodie, it looks cool. So I really do appreciate it, and I had fun reading them, and I'm going to have fun answering them. So first question, how did the artist choose the design? So like I said, when I was discussing it with Foil, it was kind of just like thrown out there. We didn't really have a set. There was also other ideas that he wanted me to possibly do. But the idea of changing something that was iconic, not too drastically, but like just enough to make it something a little bit different just stood out to me. And I was like, I'm going to go with that one. I'm going to run with that, and we're going to see how this goes. So that's basically how the design came to be, because I was just like, that would just be so cool to change that up a little bit. And of course, foil helped with, well, all the guys did, because they all picked out the artwork that they thought would be a cool collaboration. So it was on both ends. It was them sending me back my art that they thought was pretty awesome, and then me being like, wow, that would just be like a really cool idea to like kind of switch it up a little bit. So that's kind of how the design came along. Let's see, next question. What prompted all the flowers and the other parts of the design? So kind of answered that already with the design that I had previously. But it was also like, that one had a lot of different pieces in it. It had like a clock, it had cogs, it had vines and all this other stuff. And with the pig logo, I think I wanted to bring, and we discussed it, we wanted to kind of bring a little bit of like, I'm going to say femininity, but we just wanted something a little bit different to play with. And I did a lot of moving around and like seeing like, well, would this fit in? No. Oh, I really like this. So I took to the floral because it's like, there's so many different flowers and there's so many different plants. So I thought like, if I could keep that consistently and like do like cool line work and everything, I think that would be really awesome. So that's, I love flowers also. So it was just kind of like, let me kind of throw in something that I like a little bit and see where it takes us. What was the original medium? So when I go through digital design, I don't particularly like to start with paper, because then I want to finish on paper. And I know that sounds like, oh, well, you could just finish it on paper and then finish it in, I have an iPad, so Procreate. And I thought about it. I was like, let me like sketch it out and everything. But I think, and if I'm being completely honest, I think it was me being super excited that I just wanted to just do it. And I got out my iPad, I started sketching, and I was just like, I'm just going to keep going. So that's what I did. What I do, I'll take you through the process. What I do on Procreate is I always start with a pencil sketch. So I did transfer the original pig logo onto Procreate, sketched over that, and then I take many different colors of sketch pencil, and I start with one color and I'm like, okay, so here's the base. Then I bring in another color and I'm like, okay, well, here's the potential design. And then I keep picking different colors until I figure out exactly what I want to do. And then I take line work to it. So that was kind of like the medium, really. It was just all done digitally, but in many different sketch formats, I guess is the best way to put it. Like, you know, with the different colors, and then going from sketch digitally to then ink digitally, like that's kind of like the process. Was it ever in color? It was not. We decided very early on that it was going to stay black and white because of the simplicity of it. It was up for discussion. It was something where I was like, do we want to make this into a color thing? Like, do we want it to be super floral, rainbowy, like touches of color? And it was just like, no, black and white. Simplicity, also just super clean. And it came out amazing, in my own opinion. And then you guys, which again, so amazing, you guys took to it with kind of like a coloring page, which was awesome. I loved seeing that. I love seeing all your guys' fan art, by the way, just because I like to see it as a fellow artist, being like, I'm so glad that this specific group of people is inspiring so many others to do something creatively. So anybody that's contributed creatively to being a Foil Arms and Hog fan, you guys are absolutely amazing. Like, I love everything that you guys do. If we're not following each other, let's follow each other, because I love seeing it. Let's see. Was there a deliberate, it must point in this way part of the design process? This was answered in Twitter by a fellow fan, but yes, I wanted to keep it the same direction as the original design. I didn't want to break too far away from it originally. I didn't want to like make it realistic or point the other direction or anything like that. I wanted to keep it true to the original design because, like I said before, that design is iconic. Like you see that design and you're like, foil arms and hog automatically. But yeah, I just wanted to keep it true to the original. What other merch would you like to see the pig on? So for me, I wasn't expecting it to be on a hoodie. It wasn't until like many messages later that like that was the idea that it was going towards, which I absolutely loved. But I don't think I would ever want to see it on another apparel, which I wouldn't have a problem with ever. Like that's not my call. I would be ecstatic, but like in my head, like seeing it on a t-shirt, I'm like, yeah, sure, that's cool. But I would love to see it as like a sticker or like an enamel pin. Like to see that detail embossed would just be so awesome. Or even a tote. Like I love the totes with the Foil Arms and Hog logo with the words. Like to see that on a tote would be pretty awesome also. But any merch would be, I mean, super flattering and amazing. So I wouldn't complain either way. But pin, sticker, and tote would be probably my top 3. That would be really, really cool. What is your favorite little piece of the pattern? So I really love the head personally because it's the first piece that I started with. I dove into it and I was just like, I want to work. I never work in one specific spot at a time, but it was the first piece that I started with and the first piece that I finished with. And I was just super excited when I got that piece done because I was just like, this is going to look so cool. I was just really happy throughout the entire process. I don't think there was one time where I was like, oh my gosh, I really don't like this at all. I was ecstatic through the entire thing. So, but the head is my most favorite piece because I started with it and then I finished with it. What was the most challenging part of the process? I think the most challenging part was having so many different designs that I gave them to choose from, because when I work, I like to give my clients or the people that I collaborate with options. So I gave them a couple different ones, which I'll show you guys in a little bit. And I was like, oh, I really like this one. I really like this one. And it's hard because you get attached to these different options that you give people. And you're like, oh my gosh, which one are they going to pick? And then it becomes a self-conscious thing. And it's just like, okay, well, you love all of them, but why did they pick that one? Did they really not like this one? It was kind of something that was just eating me up. I'm like, which one are they going to decide? I have no idea which one they're going to choose. But I think that was the most challenging part. And then, of course, cleaning it up in the end was a little bit difficult because it's like you get to a point where you're like, okay, it's finished. And then you go back with your collaborators and you're just like, no, let's tweak a few things. And then you're worried that you're going to ruin the entire design by changing up the little things, which I already have had the final ones saved. So if we tweaked it, it wasn't going to be a huge issue. But I don't know about any other artist, but for me, it's like, if I change this, I can never go back. I can never see it in its original form again. So it's all pretty much just up here. That's the most challenging part for me because there's a deep part of me that knows that somebody's gonna like what I do. I might not like it, and that's the most challenging part, but I'm gonna present this and there's either going to be feedback or there's going to be, we love it. So it's all just with me. That's the most challenging part of any project that I have to do. Let's see. Did you try out other kinds of patterns? There was a lot of back and forth with like what flower or floral piece was going to go where. just with myself, like I would start doing something and be like, no. And then I'd scratch it and then I'd go back and do it over. There was certain patterns that I wanted to fill certain spaces, if that makes sense. Like I wanted to do like a big flower in a corner and then like do all these, you know, line works and flourishes on the way out. So it kind of like, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Like, it kind of like projected in a certain way. So then the other like square would be like almost like it was growing into the other one, but I didn't want it to be like a continuous picture where then I blocked out lines and, you know, erased around it. I just wanted every piece to kind of go together, but not be the same. So there was a lot of debating, like, does this go here? Does this go here? Do I like this here? So yeah, it's a lot of back and forth and erasing and going over things. And, you know, it was a long, lengthy process for me. Would you or did you consider having the words foil arms and hog within the pattern? I did. I thought about it, but one, my penmanship, awful. Like for me to make a clean logo with words takes forever. Like it is the most frustrating thing for me because I write so quickly, and I think the only person that can read my handwriting is myself. So I did think about it. I also didn't want to like Photoshop the foil arms and hog word logo into the pig. I did think about it, but I was like, how am I going to make that look nice? It was very difficult. I think I wrote it out at like the belly of the pig. And then I was like, no, we're just going to continue with just the floral. I don't think I even ever presented it to the guys. I think I just scratched it and I was just like, no, I don't want to do that because my handwriting is atrocious. Let's see. Did the lads approach you to make the piggy design? So like I said earlier, I actually approached them. I would have been absolutely flattered if they approached me. I mean, technically, I guess they did because they were like, hey, do you want to try your hand at changing up the pig logo? But I went to them and was like, hey, can I possibly work with you guys? And that's kind of how it really went. I was like, I would love the opportunity. So if you guys ever have any work that you need done, hit me up. I was kicking myself after I sent that message. I was just like, why did I do this? But I'm really, really happy that I did. Did you make the design yourself or did anybody help you? I really like this question because I am so difficult to work with. And I say that because I've been told that. Like group projects, not good. Like I'm extremely precise, and it's a thing where like I just want to take control over it because I'm like, I have a vision. I know the exact way that I want this to go. So I didn't have anybody help me. I had the words and the inspiration from Foil Arms and Hog to kind of coach me through how I was going to make the design. But as far as like getting anybody to like help me with the line work or sending it off to be cleaned up to anybody, that was all me. When I get into a project that I'm really excited about, I am like head in to my desk, like this close to the paper, like sketching. I'm so super zeroed in. If anybody were to try to help me, I'd probably chew their head off. I always appreciate help and feedback, but yeah, when it comes to projects, I'm too into it. I can't have anybody help me. That being said, I love to collaborate with people. Like I love if somebody were to draw something and send it to me and be like, hey, color it, or kind of make a few little changes and flourishes. I love doing that. That's amazing. But for me to send it to somebody and be like, hey, help me with this, for me to ask for help is, I don't do it because I'm so particular and self-conscious of my work. So no, yeah, just me, myself, and I that was me. Did Foil Arms and Hog have a lot of opinions on the pattern, or did the artists just do their own thing? Their opinions, I loved their opinions because, like I said, I sent them a couple of different options, and I think their opinions were more just like words of encouragement, really, because there wasn't anything where they were like, can you change this specific pattern? Can you like move this flower over this way? It wasn't anything like that. It was more of like, this is great, keep going with it, add more. It was like it was more words of encouragement, which I, was just like, ah! So it was very cool. The pieces of advice and feedback that they did give back, I'll get to in a little bit, but it was, like I said, it was more so just words of encouragement, which for me, I don't know. I geek out about this every time I think about it. Did they tell you beforehand what they'd use it for, meaning the design? No, we didn't get to that until I think the design was finished, really. I think we, like the email said, all very open. We didn't know what the design was going to be used for. It was mostly just me having fun designing something for them and communicating with them, and like, for me it was like, are we vibing together? Is this like working out? Like, are we having a good working relationship? Like, is this something that, if I finish this, do we have a good rapport to, like, continue with this and make it into something? So, but yeah, we communicated later on, I think after the design was finished, and it was like, hey, we want to put it on a hoodie. And I was like, yeah, let's do that. That's awesome. So yeah, it wasn't until later, because it was all very open-ended. They weren't in need of any new merch design. So yeah, very open. And then later on we were just like, hoodie. So yeah, it was awesome. What was the feedback? So I'll get into that. So the feedback was, so when I finished the floral design completely, after they had zeroed in on the specific design that they wanted, the border that I had a very, very thick black line border around the floral design. And they were like, let's get rid of that. And I was like, okay. So we got rid of that. And there were these huge gaps in between the pig, basically. And they were very, very big. And I was just like, oh, let me send it to them and see what they say. And they were like, let's kind of thin that gap a little bit. Let's just make it just a little bit smaller. So I extended on the floral design that I already had there and made more pieces, but still made it to where that line is very, very clean. I tried not to make it like where it was all kind of like forming together without being connected. So I just tried to keep it thin, clean, but also had to extend on the floral designs in between to make sure that it was a little bit more compact. But that was about the only feedback that they gave me. Like I said, words of encouragement. And then they were just like, let's try to like bring that a little bit closer together. And I was like, cool, awesome. So these next questions are more about my work style, really, which I totally appreciated the question. So this question was, how is working for a brand different than working for yourself? It is so different. At least for me. I can't speak for any other artists, but for me, like, I have a very specific way that I work for myself. Like, I have a notebook chock full of just stick figure drawings of like what I would want to draw. So, and those are very, very loose. They're super like I have like little comic strips and I have little asterisks that are like, okay, you want to do this and we want it in this format. And that's just how I do it. And then I build off of that, and it's very cartoony, and it's usually like whimsical or whatever. So I have a lot of like time, and I have a lot of say in my own artwork because I'm my own boss in that situation. When you're working for a brand, or even doing a commission for somebody that wants like a painting, it's a little bit more tightened. You have to, and I'm very give me everything that you want. Like, I'm very specific. I am like, do you want color? Do you want black and white? Do you want lines? Do you want it on paper? Do you want it digital? I have a list that I go through that I'm like, are these all the things that you want? And then after that point, it's like, I'm going to send you a picture of the sketch. I'm going to send you a picture of, you know, the line work. And then I literally am like, here's the process, here's a process, here's a process, to the point where I'm super annoying probably, but I want to be as thorough as I can possibly be. So it's a lot more difficult on myself, because I am my worst critic. And then I also have somebody else critiquing my work. So I am very thorough. I literally map out every possible, possible process that is going to happen. So it is very different. I'm a lot more strict with myself when it comes to working with someone than I am with working with myself, because I only have one person critiquing me when it's me. And when I'm working for somebody else, I might have a group of people that are critiquing me. So I am very, I bring myself in when I have to work for someone else. So very different. How do you balance between a client's brand and your own style? So when I speak to a client, I like to ask them, what style specifically are you looking for? Because there is a huge difference between realism, and there is a huge difference between, you know, cartooning and line work and color. So again, I do have a list. I go through all the questions. I'm like, we need to get down to the nitty gritty of exactly what you're looking for. And that, because that's my end goal. I want to give my client exactly what they envision. And, you know, sometimes it's hard because you envision something and then you have somebody who doesn't fit your specific style. So I like to try and get as close to that as possible, if not exactly what they want. And sometimes it takes a while, because if I'm drawing cartoons for, you know, 20 days, and then all of a sudden I get a client that's like, hey, we need you to design a logo for a band, and they want it super clean and they want it line work and it's black and white. And I'm like, ooh, okay, I really need to back off the cartoons for a little bit, focus on this, try and get it as precise as possible. And honestly, I'm just crossing my fingers and hope for the best. But it's all about feedback, them telling you what they want. This isn't exactly what we're looking for. We really want you to do something more like this. Or no, we love it. Actually, you know, put a little touch of cartooniness in there for your own, you know, little flourish or whatever. So it's a difficult balance, but I definitely have to have that conversation with myself and tip the scale in whichever direction that they're looking for. And finally, how do you get over any insecurities in the earlier stages of an assignment? Oh my gosh. It's a great question. I love that question, but it's difficult for me to get over any insecurities with my art, because I am constantly looking at it. I don't know if anybody's heard of this, but you get to the ugly stage of your art, which is very, very early on. You know, you start with a sketch and you're like, oh, okay, it's going well. And then you get to a little bit of the detail and you're like, okay, all right, I see it. It's happening. And then you get to color, or line work and you're like, oh my gosh, this is not going well at all. And then you finish it and you're like, okay, that's great. But the way that I get through it is trying my best to realize that this isn't just for me. Even when it's my own artwork, it's not just for me. Somebody else is going to see this eventually. Whether it be my brother, my parents, my friends, my fiance, my work colleagues, someone is going to see it. And it's not just for my eyes anymore. It's for other people to take in and interpret and, you know, criticize or whatever. So I kind of have to tell myself, like, your insecurities about this specific piece are very, very small because, you know, other people are going to take it in and be like, wow, this is cool, which is most of the case, and most of the case for any artist. We don't realize in the moment that people are going to look at this specific piece and be like, wow, this is so freaking cool. And then be completely impressed with you and then tell other people about it or show other people about it. You know, you got the people that share artwork on Instagram, that they, you know, buy your artwork, which is the biggest compliment in the world. You know, somebody hanging it up on their wall, you know, somebody slapping a sticker that you did on a notebook. Like, those are such huge compliments, and you have to tell yourself, like, this little insecurity that you have about this hand not looking the right way is going to be nothing because somebody else is going to think that this is absolutely amazing. So it's always a conversation that I do have to have with myself. And I'm sure that so many other artists have to have, that we're just like, everything's fine. This is going to be cool. You know, you might hate it, but so-and-so is going to love it. And that's pretty much how we get through it, or at least I get through it. Yeah, well, sorry about the dramatic throw, but that was the last question. So let me show you guys real fast the different designs that I did and sent the guys, because there were a couple different options. So let's see. I am going to do this just showing you guys like this. I apologize. I do have the design up on my Instagram if you guys want to go ahead and scroll through that, if you want to see like a more clear picture. But I am just going to go ahead and scroll through and show you guys this way. So I'm going to stand up and show you. So this was the first design that I had sent them. Let me just get a little bit in shot. Hello. And then, of course, number 2. So I did the blackout design on each side because I wanted to give them the option, like, do we only want this halfway? Do we want it like full? Like, what do we want? And then this was the first design that I had sent them. Sorry, my ring light's kind of reflecting in there, but you see the big thick line that's around it. So we got rid of that. And then, let's see. So actually, I got rid of it on all of the designs that I had sent previously. So I took it out of this one, and then we finally got to this one because this was the one that they were kind of teetering on. They were like, oh, we like this one more. And then we got to this design. So this one, I believe, was the exact final. Let's see. Yeah, this was the exact final. And that's the one that's currently on the hoodie. So we did get through a couple of different designs. And then here is that front part that I love so much. This was the first part that I started with, this flower right here. I remember that specifically. And then I moved to the ears. And then I think I moved all the way over here in this corner. And then I did everything else. And then I finished this entire thing. So that's why I love it so much. But yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. I went to Foil Arms and Hogs show in October in Los Angeles, and I had the amazing opportunity to meet them. was mind-blowing. It was completely amazing. And the way I introduced myself as they're signing my ticket was, I'm the girl that is doing your floral pig design. And they're just like, oh. It was really funny because like it's weird to kind of like put a face to a name that you've been speaking to only through email. So it was kind of like a cool opportunity for all of us to kind of just be like, we've all been talking, like, hi. It was a lot of fun. They're such sweet guys, as you all know, because you've either met them or you've enjoyed them through YouTube. But they're so sweet and they're so nice, and they even gave me words of encouragement while we were there talking, and I felt bad because we had a line of fans that were waiting to meet them. I tried to keep it as short and sweet as possible, but yeah, like the opportunity that I've had to work with them, I couldn't have asked for a better group of people to work with, honestly. Like, I've been watching them for years, and for them to inspire me that way, and then for them to gladly work with me, was just like, I don't ever want to work for anybody else ever again. Like, if I had the opportunity to work with them again, absolutely, 100%. They're the best people to communicate with. And then just you guys as fans and as building this amazing community to be a part of. Like, I've had conversations with some of you, and I'm just like, you guys are just so nice and so cool. So thank you so much for giving me that opportunity to be a part of this amazing community and feeling accepted and seeing your guys' feedback on the hoodie and being curious about it. I mean, it's the best feeling in the world, I have to tell you. It's really, really amazing. Side notes, if you guys aren't following me, please consider it. I would love to follow you guys and see what you all are doing. I haven't really been on the Patreon page that much. I apologize. I am a patron, but communicating through there, communicating through Instagram, communicating through lives or whatever, I would love to talk to you guys and get to know you. I'm so sorry that I don't live closer to the majority of you. I would love to meet you guys at some point. It's been absolutely amazing getting to know some of you. So thank you. But yeah, other things, not really. Sorry about my desk being a mess. I am in the middle of a project at the moment. If you guys do follow me, some of you know that I do commissions. If you guys are ever looking for commissions or collaborations, absolutely. If you guys ever feel like purchasing some of my art, I do have stickers, I have pins, prints. There's a lot of different things that I have done for different people. If you guys want to take a look at that on my Instagram. But other than that, I mean, all I can say is thank you. Thank you again, over and over and over again. Thank you to Helen for having me do this interview. Thank you to the thousands of you that, you know, support Four Alarms and Hog and help them continue making amazing videos and content for us. And then, of course, thank you, Floral Arms and Hog, for being inspiring and making us laugh and keeping us all going. And I can't wait to see them when they come back to LA. And I know you guys can't wait for them to start performing again, doing live shows, I should say. But just thank you. That's all I can really say. It's been absolutely amazing. And I've had so much fun answering your guys' questions and taking the time to just talk to you guys. So I hope you all continue to enjoy Four Alarms and Hog Fest that's going on. There's so many other creators and other people that are a part of this, so please support them. Please take the time to watch all their content all the way through and, you know, take part in any activities that they have. So thank you so much, and I will see you guys super soon. Thank you. Thanks so much again for watching, guys. If you all would like to stay connected with me, I have my Instagram and TikTok that I'll have listed right here. That way you guys can see what content I'm working on. Maybe, who knows, a Foil Arms and Hog design in the future. Again, thanks for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Doom Dot day. See ya!